What the was that?
James, it's Valtteri.
There's something loose between my legs.
You mean like forever?
I don't know.
Tripping major nutsack.
Come on! No more radio for the rest of the race.
Hello everyone and welcome along to the reserve drivers as we preview Portimao and look back on the highs
Max Verstappen takes victory in Italy.
and the lows of the Imola Grand Prix. I'm Tim McDonald. Alongside me,
Is he a fucking prick or what?
one way to describe him, Luke Rocker. Welcome along.
I've been called worse, Tim, mainly by you. It is good to be here. What a treat we've had in the first couple of weeks of F1.
Oh, look, I'm still buzzing from Imola, Lukey boy, where we saw some amazing wet weather performances. Sorry, that is a technical. We're having a couple of technical difficulties here tonight. We will sort that out. But we've got to crack on, Lukey boy. There is a lot to get to, a lot to unpack. There's Max's win, Bottas and Russell crash, sprint races, Portimao. But let's start with a big talking point.
Cheese.
That's the one, cheese. Of course, last week, viewers will remember that you brought to our attention a brand new segment.
Homage Au Fromage, a segment devoted to all the cheese references that are flowing in during F1 coverage.
And we heard a beauty during qualifying.
The wonderful products that are made in Italy. Buckrofty, who will be making a right mozzarella of their qualifying today, and who will have it perfect as a perfect piece of parmesan.
Some wonderful cheese mentions from Ted.
That is quintessential homage au fromage.
Well, Ted wasn't done.
Never mind. Nice bit of pecorino. Forgot the pecorino there.
That's 3 cheeses in 3 sentences.
Never forget the pecorino.
I mean, he even said never rhymed. That's how much he's thinking about cheese. But it gets even better. Hold on. This was David Croft in Q1 of qualifying in Imola.
3 very early candidates for homage to fromage.
We did it, baby! We're in F1 qualifying.
Come here!
They said we couldn't do it.
They said we shouldn't do it, Lucky boy. We've been in Drive to Survive. We're now in qualifying.
You know, Tim, when we started this all those many moons ago,
What, this episode? Feels like it.
to think that we would have been brought up in a qualifying session, and not to do with racing.
No.
Not to do with notoriety.
No.
To do with cheese.
Pecorino. Mozzarella.
As far as I'm concerned, mic down. We've done it.
That's it.
We're hanging up. But let's get straight into the big talking point in Imola.
Pecorino. Let's talk about it.
The big racing incident, the big collision.
Yeah, and not just here. Already in Bahrain, you could see, or in winter, that he definitely made the next
Whoa.
step. Also as a person, as a guy.
It was the massive talking point in F1.
McLaren are looking a little nervous at the rear, judging by that footage. That wasn't the most disturbing collision that we saw involving Toto Wolff this weekend.
Lawrence, Stroll, Toto Wolff, lawyers, all that kind of stuff.
The lawyers will definitely be involved after that contact.
A Touchy Feely Toto at the moment.
We've obviously got to get to the big on-track collision. If you haven't seen it, it's disturbing footage. Sorry, we are having some real issues.
We need to get our
We're
internet
having some
provider
real
or
issues.
something.
Bottas and Russell, that was the big collision, Luke.
Now, Tim, what do you think? Did Bottas move to the right, or did Russell get on the grass and then fling it in?
I think you should stick to cheese. I think you should stick to cheese, Leaky boy.
That's the one and only time I'm going to try to actually talk about F1.
Look, difficult for the drivers when you're dealing with such fine margins.
The average penis size of a beaver.
I mean, that was how close those two were.
You can't get closer.
Obviously, George was heated after the race.
Tensions were flaring.
Said a couple of things about Mercedes, about Valtteri. He did calm down. He did apologise. He went to go see Toto Wolff. There he is there. I have it on very good authority. His clothes were on at the start of that meeting. So that is what's going on down at Mercedes.
That adds a whole new meaning to Touchy Feely Toto.
Obviously, with a big crash, everyone is concerned about driver safety, the well-being of Bottas and Russell. No one was more concerned than Kimi Räikkönen.
Oh, yellow where you are?
I got sprayed with all kind of fucking shit.
Yeah, very concerned. He was very concerned. But by far the biggest victim of that crash...
Bottas championship hopes?
No.
George Russell getting the Mercedes seat.
Anthony Davidson.
Right, let's get down to the Skypad. Ant had a few drivers actually stop by to have a look at the Bottas and Russell incident.
Yeah, unfortunately, they've left me now, Simon. I'm all alone once again. Story of my life.
Oh, Ant. All alone.
Jeez.
I mean, I felt bad for him. Simon Lazenby, our friend, he felt really bad for him.
Come on, it's your birthday. You don't have to be all by yourself. Come up here. There's a spare. We've got a spare stool.
Really?
You can come up here. Yeah, we can talk a little bit more about that. Come on. It's not often we allow you onto the stage, but we will today as it's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. You don't have to be alone forever.
Am I watching Formula One coverage or an episode of Thomas and Friends? Or Ant and No Friends?
Ant and No Friends.
Just talking about George Russell, there is a lot on his mind. We can excuse him for a few driver errors. There's some pressing issues ahead.
My Wikipedia photo is awful. When I was chatting with my manager, saying, I Googled myself and said, right, we need to change this because I hate this. If anyone Googles George Russell, it's not a good look.
Are we allowed to Google George Russell?
I think Touchy Feely Toto was having a bit of a Google of him. But I have some ideas. So George Russell isn't happy with his Wikipedia photo. Here it is at the moment, as it currently stands. Like, that's not too bad.
That's not too bad.
That's all right. But I've got some suggestions. I've hit the Photoshop, and I've got some suggestions for him. So there's, as we saw, there's Touchy Feely Topless George.
That's nice. I think that's nice.
Now there's Topless George juggling.
Oh.
There's Topless George juggling, which I think just shows you can do multiple things at once. And there's also Topless George, well, I'm not sure what's going on behind that helmet. He's kind of having a good time then.
I think there's a beaver penis involved in that, Leaky Boy, to tell you the truth.
Do you?
Let's take a look. Well done, Max Verstappen.
Yes.
An amazing win in Imola.
Hey, do we think Red Bull and Verstappen are a championship threat?
I think you're a threat to this show, Leaky Boy, to tell you the truth. Well done, Max Verstappen. Had an amazing weekend and had an amazing dream after the race.
And, Lewis was also there, but at one point these yellow sausages were there. So yeah.
Yellow sausages. Someone's had a bit too much pecorino by the sound of things.
Dutch barbecue, which I'm not sure we're allowed to say. Is that?
Let's have a look at his yellow sausage.
Do we have footage of a Dutch barbecue? No, we don't.
Obviously, a win for Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
An amazing performance by Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen is back in championship contention. So naturally, at the press conference,
question to Lewis, please.
Question to Lewis, please.
Question for Lewis.
Question for Lewis.
For Lewis.
Just for Lewis.
Lewis.
And Lewis.
Can we just go back to some of those journalists, Leaky Boy? This guy here, in his kitchen. He's in his dressing gown in his kitchen.
This is comfortable.
Mind you, he's much better than this guy.
Question for Lewis. Congratulations on a great comeback, Lewis.
Question for you, Giles. Where's your face? Lower the tripod.
That reminds me of the footage of our pilot. Oh, boy. So a lot of questions for Lewis.
And if you're going to ask Lewis a question, you've got to have the right interview technique, as this journalist perfectly demonstrated.
Great, just, waiting, standing by to talk to Lando.
She's entered the brace position. She has entered the brace position. Let's have a look at that again. So here comes Lewis. Oh, she's braced. You've got to give him clear air.
It's almost a coffin position. If we ever get him on the show, we'll know just to freeze up.
Someone from Mercedes who was speaking to the media, Leaky Boy, Andrew Shovlin.
Shovels.
Old Shovey Shoves.
Dig me a hole and fill it up again, Shovels.
You're digging yourself a hole, Leaky Boy, to tell you the truth.
That's the best improv I've got in the show.
Andrew Shovlin from Mercedes was there to unpack a massive technical weekend for Mercedes, which means it's time for some of this.
Well, initially it was quite large. Valtteri was finding it hard. It didn't go in the first time he requested it. It eventually got in. So he was just working out whether he could get out of there because Giovinazzi was coming, which is like a strange mix of mashed potato and pasta, and I didn't eat any of them.
Okay, that is getting way too obvious. They're watching.
He didn't eat any of it. He didn't even eat a yellow sausage, Leaky Boy. Well done.
I'm never saying shovels, dig me a hole again, fill it up again, shoveling again. Ever. Just on the press conference, I brought to your attention last week that F1's including some children questions.
Yeah.
Some questions from kids that are fun, bubbly, light, and...
Can we get a kid in here to replace you?
And last week I mentioned before the very, very popular F1 Genie segment, which, no,
Is that coming back?
No,
so I got my wish. Thank you to the F1 Genie for granting my wish.
F1 Genie works. We saw last week that Lewis Hamilton didn't quite give the kid a fun answer.
That kid was in the brace position, Leaky Boy.
So I paid attention to it this week, and it's not just Lewis guilty of it. And I'd like to introduce a brand new segment, F1 drivers immediately shutting down cute kid questions.
Hello, my name is Anna. My question for you is, while going at this incredible speed, can you feel your fans cheering you on? Bye-bye.
Tim, that's cute little Anna.
She's got a better grasp of English than you do, by the way.
She wants to know if the drivers can hear the fans. They make their way out there.
What a cute question.
Fernando Alonso replies.
We cannot hear them, that's for sure.
That's this week's edition of F1 drivers immediately shutting down cute kid questions.
Fantastic. What an installment. Have you got another one?
No.
Speaking of segments, Lukey boy, we do a couple.
Couple of hundred.
Feels like it, doesn't it? But we do two in particular. Smooth Operator.
Which was actually one of our very first, an OG segment.
Highlighting the incredibly smooth work of Simon Lazenby, massive friend of the show. And another segment, 10-foot boom pole contender of the week, highlighting the incredible 10-foot boom poles that we're seeing in the paddock.
I mean, what do you say about it?
This week, we're combining those two segments together. It's time for 10-foot smooth operator contender of the week.
Hang on. What kind of footage are we seeing here of Simon Lazenby?
We're not showing Simon Lazenby's yellow sausage. We're not going to look at that. Simon Lazenby, boom poles, together at last.
Oh, they're crashing out. Yeah, do you like it? Yes. We had to crash out. Sorry. I do, yes.
Loves a long stick. Simon Lazenby loves a long stick.
Confirmed. On the reserve drivers.
A 10-foot long stick yellow sausage of the week.
He does it all.
It was a wonderful interview, and Simon Lazenby, the smooth operator, managed the boom pole with ease.
It was a good move. Good drive as well. Thanks, Max. I think that's about all I could do with this one. I need two hands for this, but there we are. Thanks, mate.
He needs Nico Rosberg to show him how to use a big stick, because that is... Have we got that footage?
So we're going to try and get you some new angles on this thing.
So that's the first, and dare I say last installment of
10-foot smooth operator contender of the week.
Big talking point in F1 at the moment, the battle between the high rake and the low rake cars.
Which, Tim, I have no idea what that means.
Well, Martin Brundle does. Here he is. He's unpacking Aston Martin's protest.
Cars with a high rake that fly along the road with a higher back end we're going to be less affected than the low-running Mercedes-Benz and Aston Martin, unless there's some kind of clear proof. I don't see it can go anywhere.
Wonderful insights from Martin Brundle. And not to be outdone, Damon Hill chimed in.
Yeah, Damon, what's your take on it?
It's Formula One, isn't it?
Leave it like that. It's always been. Just leave it like that, yeah. Is that it? Oh, right, that is it.
That is it. That is it. Gee, the battle between high energy and low energy. Damon, you got a lift.
This is a man who could easily talk 25 minutes about a sticky plib.
Yeah, can we get him some pecorino? He needs some pecorino. Look, in fairness to Damon Hill, he was struggling to get to grips with these regulation changes. Although not as much as he was struggling to get to grips with his microphone.
To try to, be able to run a bit wide and not have to use the curbs in some corners.
What is he doing there? What
we just need to be brutally hard on this.
Damon was being brutally hard on that. That's how you handle a yellow sausage, by the way.
Hey, that could be the very first entry of 6-inch boom pole of the week.
Damon was clearly struggling for grip, Lucky boy. Struggling to get temperature into his hands. So much so that he had to do a warm-up. There he is in the background, just limbering up. Then he goes the full windmill. He's doing the full windmill. He's winding up the chainsaw. And on the non-preferred. He's doing it both sides. And then look, he does it both together. It's like he's doing butterfly in the pool. What is he doing? He's just trying to get some temperature into those hands.
Tim, the fool is but you. Because to find that footage gives you an insight onto the sad, lonely life that Tim McDonald lives.
He's got to get temperature into those hands. You've just got to get temperature into your hands.
Yeah.
You've just somehow got to get temperature into your hands.
Time for a classic reserve driver segment. Did anybody actually notice Giovinazzi?
We haven't done this for a while.
A long time, which put two and two together means that not many people are noticing him. One person who did notice Antonio Giovinazzi wasn't me. Wasn't you. Sure as hell wasn't you.
I was watching Damon Hill. Who was it?
It was Mick Schumacher. But Mick wasn't watching him on track. No. Mick was watching Antonio Giovinazzi very closely off track in a question relating to underwear.
No, I heard Antonio always wears the same one the whole weekend.
What?
Oh, what? Yeah. Okay. In a sense,
it's a bit dirty as well, no?
I think he cleans it every time, so...
Puts them on inside out.
Mick Schumacher has an almost intimate knowledge of Antonio Giovinazzi's underwear patterns.
He's been following that way too closely.
In a reserve driver exclusive, I managed to get my hands on That's this week's edition of Did Anybody Actually Notice Giovinazzi?
I hope no one actually noticed that segment. No one works harder than the pit crews in Formula One, Lucky Boy. This is them after the race in Imola. That's the Red Bull crew packing down, doing a lot of work
The
there.
unsung heroes, Tim.
The Alpine crew doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
The AlphaTauri crew having a smoke. Having a cigarette after the race. Fantastic. But still wearing a mask. So they're COVID safe.
Hey, I tell you who wouldn't like that footage. The fearless leader of AlphaTauri, Franz Tost. Big friend of the show. A toast to the show.
A toast to the toast.
And I've got some footage of the toast. I want to draw your attention to an interview post-race where good things are happening down at AlphaTauri, and Will Buxton wanted to find out if Franz Tost was just as happy.
Franz, in English we say when something has so much positive momentum, it becomes a hype train. Because there's so much hype around it. It gets its own momentum. It's a hype train. I was wondering if you have a ticket.
Okay, the analogy of a hype train. Now, you know Franz Tost better than most. And I'm sure you're wondering, is he on board with the hype train? Is he on board toot toot?
Tost.
Do you remember after Monza, Pierre Gasly's famous triumphant victory? This was Franz.
Looking forward, obviously you want to enjoy this, and I'm hoping there's going to be a big party tonight, led by you, Franz.
No, there's no party. Especially not led by me, because I have now to go to a meeting. No. There's no celebration, nothing.
A little one.
They should prepare everything because we have to go to Mugello.
Yeah.
That's the next race. This is much more important.
That's a derailed hype train, that is.
So the big question is Franz on board with AlphaTauri's hype train in 2021?
And where is the hype train?
The hype train is AlphaTauri.
Oh, that's fantastic.
There is a big hype train. I was wondering if you have a ticket, or if, because I know you like to keep things down, like if you're still at the station.
You need something?
No, seriously.
Okay, so
what is going on there?
Surprise, surprise, he actually is on board the hype train, although judging by that, I'm not actually sure he knows what a train is, because he's asking if you want to buy something, do you want to I'm not sure, but he is on board. Speaking of the hype train, one team that is on the up is McLaren, and I know the secret to their success is that they take the performance seriously. So, a lot of pit crew exercise. I've seen that across the pit lanes. McLaren, well, Tim, I want you to work out exactly what part of the body and for what function this exercise / stretch is doing. Just watch behind Daniel Ricciardo. Just have a look. I'm not quite sure exactly. If you just look, they get right into it. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but that mechanic is really getting into it. They're stretching something, and then
That looks like a Damon Hill workout.
afterwards they have a nice little embrace. That's the second weirdest stretching I've seen in F1 since this.
Come on, come on, yeah, push, yeah, push. Yep.
There's a yellow sausage that's just out of shot. We can't show the full clip. Great weekend for McLaren, Lucky Boy. Lando Norris.
Podium finish, baby.
And what I love about Lando is he's not getting ahead of himself. He's not getting a big head, and he's the first to thank everyone else in the team.
On the whole, I'm very pleased with myself.
Oh, well done. Well done. Mr. Humble, I call him.
But no, we joke. I'm loving McLaren. I'm loving Lando, loving Danny Rick, loving the whole team.
The only thing that's not here about McLaren today is Zach Brown, because he's at the IndyCar.
Zach Brown, team principal Zach Brown, wasn't in Imola, which of course meant...
So there's no Zach Brown aggressive fist bumps.
Aggressive Zach Brown fist bumps.
Hang on a second. This is... What is this?
Last week on the show, Lucky Boy, you draw our attention to Zach Brown's love of a fist bump.
See you in a bit. Well done. Okay. Well done.
Zach Brown loves a fist bump. Ted Kravitz is onto it.
We are making ripples through the F1 community.
But no Zach Brown, no fist bumps.
Oh, well, that's just really disappointing.
He was in Indy. What was he doing in Indy?
It's always... Deal.
That one was a punch by the end of it, Lucky Boy. That one was a punch.
That was a phalange breaking there.
I mean, so much so that the poor driver, he had to show his hands to the camera at the end. He was even comparing his injuries with other drivers. His hands were like Damon Hill's by the end of it.
We are onto something. Zach Brown has a very aggressive fist bump.
But with no Zach Brown at Imola, we needed someone to take over the fist bumps.
But if I can be Zach Brown's fist for a moment, sounds a bit odd.
We're going to cut that clip there. We're going to cut that clip there.
So let's talk about this. We've been going for a few years now, done many segments over the years. We put a lot of time into a lot more segments.
And the only two that have got any traction, cheese, fist bumps.
Hey, beggars can't be choosers.
Obviously, with Zach Brown not there, Andreas Seidel stepped up for McLaren, filled in for Zach Brown. He even tried a fist bump.
Well done, well done. I'm going to swap you in because, as you saw behind, Andreas there was a wolf lurking.
Oh no,
Okay.
that is not a fist bump. I mean, in fairness, Damon's hands weren't quite warm enough, but that is not how you fist bump.
Top of the agenda at McLaren on Monday.
Fixing the fist bumps. Let's have a look at that.
Andreas
He went in too hard. He went in too aggressive.
Too
Tim.
hard, too early. I mean, if I could be Andreas Seidel's fist for a second,
Let's stop that.
They needed Zach Brown there, Lukey boy, but he wasn't there. He was at Indy.
What was he doing there?
He was becoming an influencer.
Well, here we are. Time to get ready for the Imola Formula One race. I'm here at the IndyCar race, and of course, with my great partners, I can dial in to the pit wall. Got my Dell laptop in my Toomey laptop case. I'm going to call Andreas, talk to him a little bit about how the race is going to go on Cisco WebEx. I've worked up some thirst. Anyone got a Coke?
That is shameless. That is shameless, Zach Brown. Someone's giving him a little bit of a fist on the side, if you know what I mean. That sounded worse. I sounded like Ted Kravitz there when I said that.
It's at this point that I'd like to thank all our viewers who are dialing in today.
On Cisco WebEx. Big thank you.
Look, we're becoming a pretty big deal, okay?
But we're not letting it get to us, all right? We're not Lando Norris.
No, but at this stage, I'd like to throw an olive branch out to some lesser-known Formula One YouTube channels.
That was us last week, so we can't be throwing stones.
Mission Winnow, the cigarette company sponsoring Ferrari, that pretending they're not a cigarette company, but everybody knows they're a cigarette company.
And yet that's still not our longest segment title, by the way.
Anyways, head on over to the Mission Winnow YouTube channel.
What are you promoting? What, a cigarette YouTube channel? Don't head there.
Okay, actually,
You're not the Alpha Tauri pit crew, all right? We're not promoting cigarette smoking.
We're not. What I am promoting is their innovative ways of content, okay?
Nice.
This is a genuine segment, okay? Now, it's fascinating. It's Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc in Walk the Talk.
So, Charles, did you miss going for a walk during lockdown?
What?
Yes, I did. I basically spent all my time in front of a computer.
That video goes for 19 minutes on
What?
YouTube, okay? 19 minutes, and it is them walking in some kind of dimension.
Having watched that, I want to take up smoking. What is going on there?
Well, Tim, if you think two F1 drivers in front of a green screen in some kind of cyber dimension with no backing track looks weird, have a listen to some of these questions.
What will constitute a perfect day for you? And if you could go anywhere in the universe, where would you go? Where and when do you feel most like do you speak your mind or do you speak with your heart? Carlos, if you had the attention of the whole world for 10 seconds, what would you say?
Forget having someone's attention for 10 seconds. They had lost my attention within the first second. That's what it is. Now, they asked a lot of deep philosophical questions. Unfortunately, there weren't too many answers.
I don't know.
See, this is the danger of cigarette smoke. This is the danger of cigarette smoke. It's affecting the brain. What is going on there? Lukey boy, we do a lot of segments on this show, but one we haven't done for a while. See if you can spot Jean Todt.
Oh, a classic.
This is the segment where we try to spot the head of the FIA, Jean Todt.
Because we couldn't help but notice that he'd always just pop up.
Like a mole. Jean Todt pops up like a mole. Did he do it in Imola?
It's going to be such a great unknown out there.
Play along at home.
Nobody's been around this track on the intermediates.
There he is. There he is there. We spotted the Todt. Did you spot the Todt? Go back and watch it again if you didn't.
So, Tim, if you could have the attention of the world for 10 seconds...
We can't even keep the attention of our viewers for 20 minutes, Lukey boy. We've got to jump out of here.
I'm off for a cigarette.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing.
Thanks for dialing in.
But for now, from us, that's it.
Is that it? Oh, right, that is it.